Hello everyone, my name is Quad and today I have a very special and long video for you. We will go over all the primary weapons you can get in Warframe. Grineer, Corpus, Prime, Event, Dojo, all of them. There is altogether 172 of them. All of the weapons are farmable in-game without the need of wasting real money or platinum, but some do require quite a lot of effort to get them. Now, before I continue, I do want to point out a very specific idea of this video and all the weapons on this list in general. All of the weapons can be used on the Steel Path missions, just maybe not solo. All weapons are equal, but some are better than others. What I want to say is that some weapons do lack the crowd control or the DPS to play solo Steel Path survival missions, where you get overwhelmed very easily. There are too many variables when it comes to weapon performance, but the mastery rank is a good indication of which weapon is better. It is not the best, but it is quite good. I will only share some of the basic information like the primary status damage they deal, their status chance and critical chance, and I will also show you their firing modes, which is what really matters in my opinion. I will also share my subjective opinion on them. All of the weapons will be unmodded, so don't worry about the damage they deal and the numbers you see. You can mod each one of these weapons to do extremely high damage when you get all the mods. If you want to see at least some of the weapons we show here, the best Warframe content creator in my opinion is MC Gamer CZ, who is my favorite because of his chill demeanor and positive attitude. Many other bigger creators are too tunnel-visioned on high damage, high critical chance, red crits, big numbers and optimal builds in my opinion. Nothing wrong with that, but high numbers only are not my cup of tea, and I do not see them as the only fun thing in the game. As I said in the beginning, there are 172 weapons since update 36 of Warframe, which means this video will be hella long. We will go over all the weapons and their firing modes by mastery rank, starting with 0 and going all the way up to 16, which is the highest mastery rank requirement for primary weapons. Before we continue and start with the weapons, I also want to say that this script took me 3 days to write, and it is 26 pages long. For example, just a few videos I've already made, the armor sets video for Warframes that I've made is 4 or maybe 5 pages long, and the ephemeras, all the ephemeras of Warframe video, was 8, and those are 2 of my most viewed videos. So yeah, this one took me a very long time, so a like and a subscribe would be appreciated. Anyways though, let's now start with mastery rank 0 weapons. Raton is an assault rifle that deals all types of physical damage: impact, puncture, and slash. Its critical chance and status chance are not that good, but what is saving it is the high fire rate. It is a starter weapon that gets you into the game and is not the best even at the entry-level Steel Path, but as I said, Raton is an automatic assault rifle which comes very close to nowadays real-world weaponry. You can get it on the market and can later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter. And later on you can also get 2 other versions, Braton Vandal and Braton Prime. Burston is a burst rifle that deals all types of physical damage, impact, puncture, and slash. It has very low critical chance but very high status chance for a starter weapon. That being said, it is not the best for Steel Path, but it can still be optimized to be useful there. It shoots in bursts, which makes it quite lethal and highly accurate. You can get it on the market and can later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter. You can later on get an improved version of Burston, Burston Prime. Latron is a semi-automatic rifle that deals primarily puncture damage. It has an okay status chance and critical chance, but it doesn't excel in anything. It is a starter weapon anyways, so you should get something better for the Steel Path. It shoots in shots of 1, so you can be extremely accurate. You can get it on the market, can later upgrade it with an Incarnon weapon, and also exchange it for two better versions, Latron Wraith and Latron Prime. Mark I Braton is a worse version of Braton in every way, shape or form. It has worse critical chance and status chance and deals far less damage, with a primary slash effect. It shoots the same way as Braton, with a bit slower fire rate. Honestly, it is one of the worst weapons in the game, but it is also one of my most format weapons because I just like to play with it. So yeah, it is good in some ways, I guess. You can get it for credits on the market, can later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter, and can exchange it with Braton, Braton Vandal, or Braton Prime later on in the game. Snipetron is a sniper rifle that primarily deals puncture damage. Its status chance is okay, but the critical chance is a lot better. As a sniper rifle, you can use this gun to zoom in and out while aiming, making you deal more headshot damage to the enemies. The firing mode it has is normal 4 shots with relatively high fire rate. But what really kills the gun is the low magazine capacity. You can get it during the Plague Star event or the Star Days event. Hind is a combination of a burst rifle and a semi-rifle. On the burst mode, it primarily does slash damage, with okay status chance and low critical chance. And on the semi mode, it has an okay critical chance and status chance, still with primary slash damage. It is one of the more vanilla weapons of the game. You can get it on the market. You can later on also exchange the Hind burst rifle with a Kuva Hind, a far better version of the rifle. Mark I Paris is a bow that is not that good compared to its counterparts. It is a starter weapon that primarily does puncture damage with very good critical chance and okay status chance. It is a starter weapon and a downgrade of the Paris bow, so don't expect much. To shoot, you can do quick shots or you can charge it, dealing relatively high damage and staying silent. You can get it on the market for credits and can also later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter or later on exchange it for a far better version, Paris Prime. Mark I Strun is a shotgun that primarily deals impact damage. It has an okay status chance and low critical chance. It fires a buckshot round that disperses and can hit multiple enemies at a time. There are two key downsides to this weapon. To kill enemies, you have to be very close to them because of the damage fall off, and the reload might be a bit longer since you have to reload each round by itself. You can get it on the market for credits, can later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter, or you can also get one of the better versions of it, Strun, Strun Prime, or Strun Wraith. All of the weapons in Mastery Rank 0 are quite terrible. They are the starter weapons that get you into the Warframe. But, you know, some men of culture can also main Mark I Bratons, Mark I Struns, and so on, and play Steel Path with them. The super hard difficulty of Warframe, in little apostrophes. Anyways though, let's now move on to Mastery Rank 1 primary weapons. Strun is a better version of the Mark I Strun we just mentioned in Mastery Rank 0 weapons. It does far more damage, primarily still impact, and has slightly lower but still good status chance and low critical chance. It works in the exact same way as before. The shots scatter upon shot and spread around, while reloading the weapon will take some time since you reload one shell at a time. You can get it on the market, can later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter, and can substitute it with other Strun weapons such as Strun Wraith or Strun Prime. Karak is a great starter weapon that primarily deals impact damage. It has an OK status chance and great critical chance. I recommend you get it as a starter because its firing mode is automatic and similar to most automatic weapons we have nowadays. It is reliable, easy to use, and everyone will understand it. You can get it on the market and can also later on get an enhanced version of it called Kuva Karak. Anyways though, that is both weapons from Mastery Rank 1 primary weapons. Let's now move on to the Mastery Rank 2 primary weapons. Bore is an automatic shotgun that primarily does impact damage. It has great status chance and OK critical chance. Its firing style is an automatic buckshot, which is extremely fun to use. Because of the impact effect, the enemies will get stunned quite a lot as well, so it is more bearable to use. You can get it as a drop from a Grineer Drakkar Trooper on the Grineer C-Lab tileset, can later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter, and can also substitute it with the better version of it called Bore Prime. Boltor is a very good starter automatic bolt gun that primarily deals puncture damage. It has an OK status chance and an OK critical chance. The fire style has automatic fire that pins enemies onto walls upon death. It has large magazine capacity and good fire rate, and that's why it is one of the best starter weapons in my opinion. It is very reliable. You can get it on the market and can later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter. You can also later on substitute it with Telos Boltor or Boltor Prime. Vectis is a sniper rifle that primarily deals impact damage. It has a very good critical chance and status chance, while being quite unique with its shot. You can zoom in for increased headshot damage while aiming down, but what is even better is the one round mag and almost instant reload. It is in my opinion one of the best early sniper rifles you can get because of its high damage output and fire rate. You can get it on the market and can later substitute it for Vectis Prime. Mutalist Quanta is our first dojo weapon, which you can get in the Biolab. It has two firing modes. The first one is an automatic fire that primarily does slash damage and has good status chance and absolutely terrible critical chance. It is not that good, but it can be improved with the second firing mode. The second firing mode will make you shoot a blob of infestation that will float around for 9 seconds. It does low amounts of radiation damage to enemies that go through it and explodes after 9 seconds, dealing toxin damage. Additional perk of this weapon is that shooting through the infested blob masses will give your weapon a 100% additional electricity damage increase per floating infested mass. The floating infested mass may be hard to control since they will collide with one another, but yeah, the weapon itself is not the most useful in my opinion. It is quite fun though, and very different from other weapons. I recommend you get it in the dojo's Biolab. And that is all the weapons of Mastery Rank 2. Now these weapons are not the best, but they are the gateway of some better weapons you can get. Funnily enough, I just realized you get Mutalist Quanta before the normal Quanta. Okay then. Let's now go to the Mastery Rank 3 primary weapons. Gorgon is a Grineer machine gun that primarily does impact damage. It has low status chance and low critical chance and can be a bit harder to control while shooting. When shooting, it will have to wind up first and then go full auto. The reload on Gorgon is also not the best, but its magazine capacity does reduce the impact of the reload at least a little bit. It is great for controlling the crowds of enemies on lower levels and cosplaying as a Grineer Heavy. You can get it as a possible drop by killing Grineer Heavy units in any Grineer mission. You can also later on upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter or substitute it with one of many Gorgon upgrades, such as Prisma Gorgon or Gorgon Wraith. Paris is a starter bow that is an upgraded version of the Mark I Paris we mentioned before at Mastery Rank 0. It primarily does puncture damage with okay status chance and great critical chance. You can shoot it with a charged shot or not charged shot, so a quick shot, pinning enemies to the walls upon death. It is fun to look at as a starter, and it is great for missions in which you want to be very silent, such as spy missions early on, when you are still learning. You can get Paris on the market, and can later on upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter, and substitute it with better versions, such as Paris Prime. Vulkar is a Grineer sniper rifle that primarily does impact damage. It has great status and critical chance as well. Since the weapon is a sniper rifle, it does do additional damage with headshots while aiming, depending on the zoom level, which is also great. It might not be the best of weapons, especially for the endgame, but it is fun against the lower level enemies. You can get it on the market and can later substitute it with Vulkar Wraith. Tetra is a Corpus automatic assault rifle that primarily deals puncture damage. It has great status chance and garbage critical chance. The shooting of it is very satisfying since the projectiles do not move that quickly, but you do have to lead your shots a bit because of it. Since it is a starter weapon though, it is not the best and should be exchanged for some better version as soon as possible. You can buy it on the market and can later on exchange it for Prisma Tetra or Tenet Tetra. Let's now move on to Mastery Rank 4 primary weapons. While weapons from previous Mastery ranks are not that significant in late game, the weapons mentioned here do become good. Let's go first with Heck. Heck is a Grineer shotgun that primarily does puncture damage. It has an okay critical chance and good status chance. It may not be the best in all of these situations due to its low magazine capacity, but it is a massive powerhouse, capable of one-shotting enemies left, right and center. This shotgun was one of my favorite weapons that got me through the whole star chart system. So if you're a shotgun enthusiast, be sure to get it. It is extremely reliable. Of course, it might not be the best against large groups of enemies, but one-on-one with any heavy enemy is a win. You can get it on the market and can later on exchange it for Kuva Heck. Braton Vandal is yet another version of Braton that primarily does slash damage. It has good status and critical chance. Compared to the normal Braton, it is better in almost every aspect as well. Its firing mode is, as expected, automatic fire. I recommend getting this weapon only if you're a person that is already dead inside, since you will have to do Elite Sanctuary Onslaught to get all its parts and the blueprint. I have been hollow for a very long time now. That's why I'm playing Elden Ring at the moment in my spare time. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can later upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter and exchange it with Braton Prime, a slightly better version. Dera is a Corpus automatic rifle that primarily deals puncture damage. It has low critical chance, but good status chance. It fires a bunch of heated up plasma rounds in an automatic manner with high fire rate and good magazine capacity. It is one of the more vanilla weapons here, if you ask me, but yeah, you can get it in the dojo's energy lab. Later on, you can also exchange it for their Vandal. Torrid is an infested grenade launcher that primarily deals toxin damage, great against shielded enemies. It has a high status chance and an okay critical chance. When fired, the grenades from Torrid will fly and stick to the first thing they fall into. The initial impact will deal some damage, but there is another perk to this weapon, which is the effect you will see around the shot. A cloud that will damage all the enemies that go into it. You can get Torrid in the dojo's biolab, and can later also upgrade it into the Incarnon form that is, in my opinion, one of the best and easiest weapons to use in the game. It's more of a no-brain gun when you have the Incarnon form, but, you know, it is very fun to use. Quanta is a corpus laser weapon that does only electricity damage. It has high status chance and an okay critical chance. It also has two firing modes. The first firing mode will shoot a laser at the enemies, which is great since you don't have to lead your shots. The second firing mode, however, will shoot out a cube that will drain a lot of your ammo and explode over time, dealing blast damage. You can also shoot the cube to make the explosion massively larger, so yeah, that is that. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab, and can later on exchange it for Quanta Vandal, an upgraded version of Quanta. Prisma Tetra is an upgraded Tetra assault rifle which primarily deals puncture damage. It has an okay critical chance and high status chance. Its fire style is the same as our previous Tetra weapon, the only difference is that Prisma Tetra is better in every way. This is why I recommend getting it if you like the stock version of Tetra. You can get it from Baroketeer if he brings it around, and can later get an upgraded version of Prisma Tetra, Tenet Tetra. Let's now move on to Mastery Rank 5 primary weapons. Grakata is a Grineer submachine gun that primarily deals impact damage. It has high critical chance and status chance. When shooting it, you will see that its fire rate is very fast, which is nice, especially because of the high status chance. The only problem this weapon has is a massive ammo drain because of its low damage and fast fire rate. Plus, when shot, it may be a bit hard to control at times. You can get it on the market, and can later also get an upgraded version of it, Prisma Grakata. Dread is a very good bow that primarily deals slash damage. It has insane critical chance and good status chance. Since it is a bow, it can be shot by charging it or just clicking. But the thing is, the fire rate and the charge rate is really good, so you will be able to charge it quite quickly. Because of the high critical chance and decent status chance, the bow is great on its own, but you will be able to upgrade it later as well with an Incarnon adapter, skyrocketing its potential. You can get it as a drop from the Stalker when he invades your game. Ignis is a flamethrower that primarily deals heat damage. It has an okay critical chance and high status chance. The firing mode is, as you would imagine, fire. It can punch through enemies in the front and hit the enemies in the back, making it insanely popular. It is very easy to use if you are on the verge of being brain dead. People usually use it to complete short level missions like exterminates or relic openings with very little effort. You can get it from the dojo Scam Lab or later get an upgraded version, Ignis Wraith. Snipetron Vandal is an upgraded version of Snipetron sniper rifle that primarily deals puncture damage. It has an OK status chance and high critical chance. Compared to the normal Snipetron, it is better in every way and works exactly the same way as well. Aim and zoom for increased headshot damage, low magazine capacity, and looking like a few mashed together Lego pieces. You can get it from the corpus side of the invasions. Dragoon is a Grineer shotgun that deals primarily slash damage. It has an OK critical chance and status chance. To shoot it, you will first have to charge it and then shoot, since that way you will deal more damage. You can shoot it without charging too though. The charged shots will also bounce once when they hit the ground, making it perfect for crowd control and long hallways. You can get it in the Dojo Scam Lab and can later on upgrade it or exchange it with the Kuva Dragoon. Sybaris is a 10-0 lever action rifle that deals all types of physical damage with OK status chance and high critical chance. When shot, it shoots 2 rounds in quick succession. This rifle is insanely fun to play with since there are not many that work this way. It is basic, yes, but there are 2 more versions of it that we will take a look at later on. Dex Sybaris and Sybaris Prime. You can get this one in the Dojo Steno Lab. Com is a Grineer automatic shotgun that primarily deals slash damage. It has OK critical chance and insane amounts of status chance per shot. This gun works a bit differently, so let me quickly explain. When you start shooting it, it needs to wind up a bit. The faster it goes, the more ammo it will consume, but the status chance and the critical chance are going to stay the same. So yeah, it impacts fire rate only in exchange for ammo. Com itself is great for applying status effects on enemies and is altogether quite a nice shotgun to play with. You can get it in the Dojo Scam Lab and can later on upgrade to its better version, Kuva Com. Tonkar is a Grineer grenade launcher that deals primarily blast damage. It has high critical chance and OK status chance. When shot from very close range, the grenade will not explode, but when shot from a longer range, it will. Yeah, it will only bounce off if you are too close to the enemy. This is kinda stupid, but you know, it's funny. The shot will explode and deal damage to enemies all around the center in a large area. I recommend you try it out since it is one of the rewards from the relays, but you can also get it on the market. It is fun to use, and later on you can also upgrade to a better version of it, Kuva Tonkar, which is absolutely amazing. Simulor is a magnetic gun that primarily deals magnetic and electricity damage. It has an OK critical chance and great status chance. When shot, it will release a ball which will explode in a few seconds, damaging enemies all around it. Additional perk of this weapon is that shooting 4 or more balls together will make a vortex, which will pull enemies inside of it and damage them over time. At the end, it will also explode and deal additional damage, but yeah, this is why we only have 2 balls, to avoid singularities and vortexes and stuff like that. Yeah, you can get it from Cephalon Semaris and can later on upgrade with the Cyanoid Simulor. Nataruk is a sentient bow that primarily deals puncture damage. It has insane critical chance and status chance. When shot, you can charge it and even get perfect shots that will have a slightly higher critical chance if you charge it just right. It might also look like it does explosive damage, but that is just visually, sadly. It only does damage on direct hits. You will get it after you complete the new war quest. And that is all the weapons on Mastery Rank 5. Let's now move on to Mastery Rank 6 primary weapons. Flux Rifle shoots a laser that primarily deals slash damage. It has good status chance and okay critical chance. As I said, it shoots a high fire rate laser that is very easy to control. Additionally, the magazine capacity is rechargeable, which means you will never run out of ammo. You can easily use the Flux Rifle in any low-level mission, on the normal star chart with some good mods, and have fun with it. It is rechargeable, so you never run out of ammo. You can get the Flux Rifle in the dojo's energy lab, and you can later upgrade with the Tenet Flux Rifle. Miter is a weapon that primarily deals slash damage. It has low critical chance and very high status chance. It has two fire modes. First fire mode is a quick shot which will deal less damage. On the contrary, the second fire mode will deal more damage, but you will have to charge it up. And on top of that, like a little cherry or a saw blade cherry, I don't know, you can make it better with the Incarnon adapter as one of the best Incarnon weapons in the game. You can get its blueprint and its parts by doing the Lieutenant Lech Krill and Captain War assassination on series. And I know how much you people love your corrupted war speech about the Tenno and the keys, so I will leave it right here.
Look at them. They come to this place when they know they are not pure. Behold the Tenno, come to scavenge and desecrate this sacred realm. Now I will stop them. Now I am changed, reborn through the energy of the Janus Key, forever bound to the void. It is time. I will teach these trespassers the redemptive power of my Janus Key. They will learn its simple truth. We cannot blame these creatures. They are being led by a false prophet, an impostor who knows not the secrets of the void. Let it be known, if the Tenno want true salvation, they will lay down their arms and wait for the baptism of my Janus Key. I was cut in half, destroyed, but through its Janus Key, the void called to me. It brought me here, and here I was reborn. The Tenno are lost, and they will resist, but I, Vor, will cleanse this place of their impurity. My brothers, did I not tell of this day? Did I not prophesize this moment? Tenno use the keys, but they are mere trespassers. Only I, Vor, know the true power of the void. Behold, they cut me down, but still I speak. I am energy, and I cannot be destroyed. This death is temporary. My existence is forever. I cannot be destroyed. What a waste! Your scarred vessel comes to beg once more? You will never pry the Janus Key from the clutches of its rightful owner. I, Captain Vor, have ascended, and the void salutes me. You will die a lifetime, an eternity, a universe of deaths before you are blessed by the endlessness of this place, this paradise. I will never close an eye to the gift that is the void. Even as my flesh hardens, a wall of bone awaits my joining.
Soma is a Tenno machine gun that primarily does puncture damage. It has extremely high critical chance and low status chance. It shoots an automatic barrage of bullets and has very high fire rate and very big magazine, with the only downside being the screen shake. It is one of the more vanilla weapons that is great for starters and should get you through the whole star chart. Later on you may also get the Incarnon adapter for it, and you can also get it right now on the market. At higher mastery ranks you can also upgrade it with the Soma Prime, which is the upgraded version of Soma. Ceranos is a bow that primarily does impact damage. It has massive critical chance and good status chance. You can shoot it in two ways, by quick-shotting or charging the attack. There is also nothing else to say with this bow. It is a component for many other Ceranos type bows, so be sure to keep it around if you can. There are 5 types of Ceranos bows, so you know, it's quite popular I guess in the Warframe universe. But anyways, you can get it on the market, and later on you can upgrade it into Rakta Ceranos, Ceranos Prime, Mutalis Ceranos, or Brobyssus Ceranos, I think. Penta is a corpus grenade launcher that primarily does blast damage. It has meh critical chance and status chance. You will be shooting small grenade cubes at the enemies, which you can later detonate when you want. It is great for dealing with large groups of enemies at lower levels, but at the higher levels, sufficient damage output can be quite hard to achieve. It is fun to play around with all the minefields you make though. So yeah, you can get it on the market, and later on you can upgrade into Carmine Penta or Secura Penta. Rubico is a sniper rifle that primarily deals impact damage. It has a high critical chance and an okay status chance. As any other sniper rifle, you can zoom in for increased headshot damage. I'm not really a fan of sniper rifles since they are very niche to use, but they do have their uses. You know, it's hard to get a whole group of enemies down with, a sniper rifle that just does one shot at a time. Solo Steel Pass survivals will be hard, but yeah, veterans will remember using Rubico in Eidolon hunts. You can get Rubico on the market, and you can later on upgrade it into the Rubico Prime. Scourge is a staff primary weapon that primarily deals corrosive damage, great for stripping armor. It has almost no critical chance and high status chance, making it great for status play. It has two uses. The first one is an automatic shot, which you will have to lead a bit. It has decent fire rate and magazine capacity. But yeah, the second use of the Scourge is the throwable attack, which will give the enemies near it an attraction for bullets, quite literally. Using secondary weapons that fire bullets will automatically go to the enemy's heads, which is great to use with some headshot-based secondary weapons, like Neil for example. You can get Scourge in the dojo's Steno lab and can later upgrade to Scourge Prime, the upgraded version of Scourge. Carmine Penta is an upgraded version of the Penta grenade launcher, with a much better fire rate and magazine capacity. It has critical chance and status chance. It works the same way as normal Penta. When shooting it, you will be shooting small grenade cubes at the enemies, which you can later detonate when you want. It is great for dealing with large groups of enemies at lower levels, and can be used at some higher levels of Warframe for crowd control, I guess. You can get it in the Corpus Railjack Points of Interest, and can later get the better version Secura Penta. Cinta is a Duviri bow that primarily deals puncture damage. It has great critical chance and status chance. It also has two kinds of projectiles. First kind is a normal arrow which you can shoot by quick-shotting, and the second one is a perfect shot, which will shoot a massive projectile that goes through enemies, pushing them on the ground and also dealing heat damage to them. It is a very fun bow to play with. You can get it from the Duviri Enigma puzzles. That is all with the Mastery Rank 6 primary weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 7 primary weapons. Sobek is a Grineer automatic shotgun that primarily deals impact damage. It has a very high status chance and okay critical chance. The shotgun is automatic and has a large magazine plus a quick reload. It is, from my experience, far better to aim with this gun because you are far more accurate, but it is, fun to play with it sometimes. It's not the best, but yeah, it just looks weird, I think. You can get it at the market and can later get a better version of it called Kuva Sobek. Greenlock is a Grineer lever action rifle that primarily deals impact and slash damage. It has a very high status chance and okay critical chance. You do unload a round every time you fire, which does reduce fire rate a bit, but a few mods can fix that quite easily. It is a fun weapon to use for picking off grunts from far away, and it is satisfying to aim with it. I recommend going for the heads on this one. You can get it in the dojo's chem lab. Later on, you can also get an upgraded version of Greenlock called Prisma Greenlock. Gorgon Wraith is a beefed up version of the normal Gorgon with slightly increased stats. Status chance on it is high and the critical chance is okay. It works exactly the same as normal Gorgon with a slight wind up when you start shooting and an uncontrollable barrage of lead when you hold your ground. It is quite fun to use, I'm not gonna lie, even though it is not that good. Later on, you can also get an Incarnon adapter onto it, and you can get the blueprint for it and its parts from the Razorback Armada event. Also, later you can upgrade it into Prisma Gorgon. Attica is a Tenno automatic crossbow that primarily deals puncture damage. It has high critical chance and okay status chance. It is a silent weapon that fires arrows at the enemies. The fire rate on it is good and the magazine capacity is okay as well, making it a fun weapon to use. There are not a lot of automatic crossbows in the game, so, I think there's two? Yeah, there is two and they're upgraded versions, but anyway. You can get Attica in the dojo's Tenno lab. Latron Wraith is an upgraded version of Latron that is better in every single aspect. It primarily deals puncture damage and has high critical chance and okay status chance. Its fire mode is the same as any other rifle weapon. When you click, you shoot. It has good magazine capacity and it is easy to use. Later on, you can also get an Incarnon adapter onto it, and you can get it from the Invasions by helping the Grineer. Later on, you can also upgrade it with Latron Prime, which is very good. Parasist is an infested burst weapon that primarily deals toxin damage. It has okay critical chance and high status chance, making it ideal for shielded enemies. Each shot will fire 3 rounds with absolutely no recoil and very fast fire rate. There is also a secondary fire mode which will pull enemies towards you and make them fly around. It is extremely fun to use, but practically not the best of the guns. You can get it in the dojo's biolab. Soma Prime is our first Prime weapon on the list. Compared to the normal Soma, Soma Prime still does primarily puncture damage with slightly higher status chance and double the amount of magazine capacity. It also has very high critical chance. The fire mode is still the same, very fast fire rate with slightly more controllable recoil. You can also get the Encarnon adapter onto it later on when you get it, but when it comes to the gun, you can get it by cracking open relics. Panthera is a saw blade thrower that requires a miter weapon to be built. It primarily does slash damage and has OK critical chance and good status chance. It fires saw blades that will bounce off the walls or enemies a couple of times. The fire rate is high and the magazine is high as well, so it is great to improve on its fire rate a lot more with mods. It does also have a secondary fire mode, which is more akin to bullying than a viable firing mode if you ask me. By using the secondary fire mode, you summon a saw blade from Panthera for close range attacks, which stun and mince enemies. As I said, it is just bullying. You can get Panthera in the market, and later on you can also get the enhanced version, Panthera Prime. Dara Vandal is an improved version of Dara that primarily does puncture damage. It improves on every single stat compared to its normal counterpart, with a high status chance and low critical chance. It fires an automatic barrage of plasma rounds that are very good for spreading status effects onto enemies due to the high fire rate. Other than that, it is a fun and reliable weapon to use. You can get it in the invasions by helping the Corpus. Karak Wraith is an upgraded version of Karak that primarily does impact damage. It improves on every single stat compared to its normal counterpart, with high status chance and OK critical chance. The weapon has fast fire rate and is quite fun to use due to being one of the more real-world-like weapons. It is reliable and good, and I think I forgot to mention it before when I was talking about the normal Karak. But anyways, you can get it in the invasions by helping the Grineer. Harpak is a Drekar Grineer burst rifle that primarily does puncture damage. It has a high critical chance and an OK status chance. It fires bursts of bullets at a fast fire rate. Additionally, Harpak also has a harpoon as its secondary fire, which latches onto enemies and pulls them towards you. The harpoon also has an insane perk that kills enemies if you stun lock them on the stairs for a long time, which is extremely funny. You can get it in the market. Convectrix, finally got it right, is a Corpus shotgun that is quite unique. It primarily deals slash damage and has decent critical chance and very high status chance. There are two ways to fire it. The first way is by lasers colliding in the middle from the sides, which is great if you want to actually hit things. And the second is moving lasers, which will move around in an arc, hitting enemies in a wide area. It is a fun weapon to play with, especially if you are playing a status-based build and just spread status with the arcing lasers. It's fun, but I don't see it that much. Convectrix these days. I had so many problems saying this weapon's name you don't even know. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab. Volkar Wraith is an upgraded Volkar Grineer sniper rifle that deals primarily impact damage. It has high status chance and decent critical chance. Once again, since it is a sniper rifle, you have an increase to headshots while aiming depending on the zoom level. The weapon is good against all kinds of enemies, but it has a major downside, which is a slow reload speed. Also, I don't really like it that much, and I think I forgot to mention it with the standard Volkar sniper rifle, so yeah, sorry for that. You can get the Volkar sniper rifle from Barrow Kitir. Mutalis Cernos is an upgraded version of the Cernos bow. It primarily does impact damage, but also has a special perk to its arrows. It has a huge status chance and an okay critical chance. When fired, you can shoot it as a quick shot or a charge shot, but in any case, however you shoot it, there will be a mist left behind by the arrow for a couple of seconds, dealing toxin damage and applying all other status effects to any enemy that goes through it. It is not that good in my opinion, but it does hold a charm to it. And another Cernos bow, which is called Probissus Cernos, which you can get later on. You can get the Mutalis Cernos on the market. Dex Sibiris is a special variety of Sibiris that primarily deals slash damage. It has a great critical chance and okay status chance. Compared to the normal Sibiris, it is slightly worse in every way, but it does look good. It fires 2 shots and then unloads them with a high fire rate. It's an accurate weapon that is fun to play with if you like weapons you need to aim with. You can get it during the Warframe anniversaries and can later upgrade, I guess, into the normal Sibiris, or even better, into Sibiris Prime. Zar is a Grineer cannon that primarily does blast damage. It has great status chance and okay critical chance. The best way to use this weapon is against groups of enemies because the shots will cause a huge explosion. The reload of the Zar is quite fast, but the cannonballs do have to be put in one by one. Additionally, Zar has a second fire mode, which acts more like a shotgun and primarily deals puncture damage, with high status chance and okay critical chance. It has a massive spread, and it therefore is very hard to use since you don't hit anything with it. You can get it in the Dojo's Chem Lab, and can later get the upgraded version, Kuva Zar. Javlok is a Grineer staff gun that fires fireballs dealing heat damage. It has high critical chance and status chance, which is great for hybrid builds. To shoot, you have to charge the attacks and then shoot. It is easy to aim with it, so it shouldn't be a problem as well. But yeah, the shots do have a tiny radial attack on them, so it is easier to hit things as well. Additionally, Javlok also has a second firing mode, which is throwing it, which causes a big explosion and deals massive damage in the form of heat. It is not the best of weapons, but it is fun to use. You can get it in the Dojo's Chem Lab. Hema is an infested burst rifle that primarily does viral damage. It has great status chance and okay critical chance, plus a very unique mechanic. Hema shoots bursts of 3 shots with a very fast fire rate. Reloading the weapon will not take from your ammo capacity, but it will rather munch on you and take 5% of your health. Additionally, headshots with Hema will heal 5% of your total health, so you can replenish your health after reloading. It is a fun gun to use, but it is not used a lot these days because, well, there's just a lot of mutagen samples you need to get. At least that was the excuse to not get it back in the day, but yeah, you can get it right now in the Dojo's Biolab. Argonac is a Grineer rifle with semi-auto and auto modes. It deals both impact and slash damage with a tiny bit of puncture. First, let's look at the semi-mode. Semi-mode has a great critical chance and good status chance. It is great to use while aiming since you will be zoomed in a lot more than on the auto mode. Argonac will also mark the enemies in the direction you're looking at, so they will be easier to spot. On the other hand, the auto fire mode has great status chance and max critical chance. It doesn't have the fastest fire rates, but it is good and can be easily improved with other mods. The magazine capacity is also good since you won't run out of ammo that quickly, and the recoil is not that bad as well. You can get Argonac on the market. Baza is a silenced Tenno submachine gun that deals both puncture and impact damage as its primary damage, with some slash sprinkled in between. It has a great critical chance and okay status chance. It fires an automatic load of lead, and when fired, the fire rate is just insanely fast, which means you can do a lot of damage very quickly, but you'll also chew through your ammo extremely quickly. It is a fun and a different weapon to play with. You have to be right inside the enemy and shoot up its ass or something, but you know, it is good. You can get it in the dojo Steno lab and can later upgrade into Baza Prime. Tigris is a double-barreled shotgun that primarily deals slash damage. It has a very high status chance and okay critical chance. When fired, you can shoot both shots at once if you click to fire, but you can also shoot one shot if you click and hold, and after you release the fire button, you'll fire the second shot. The reload is extremely quick too, so it is great and fun to use. A true super shotgun, so yeah, rip and tear until it is done. You can get it in the market and can later upgrade into Sancti Tigris or Tigris Prime. Alternox is a plasma rifle that primarily does electricity damage. It has massive status chance and almost no critical chance. When shot, the fire rate is not the best, but it can easily be improved. You can also see that the shots have a tiny radial effect as well that deal electricity damage. Besides that, you can also use the alternate fire, which fires a pulsating disc ball that pulses and deals damage to enemies near it for some time. You can also be a party breaker and detonate the disco ball on demand, so it doesn't clutter your battlefield that much, I guess. The reload on the gun is also quite good, so yeah, it is fun to play with, I guess. You can get it on the market. Let's now move on to Mastery Rank 8 primary weapons. Braton Prime is an upgraded version of the Braton Assault Rifle with better stats across the board. Its primary damage is basically all the physical damage types, puncture, slash, and impact. It has massive critical chance and okay status chance. It fires a normal automatic fire, which is easy to control. Basically, it is yet another one of the more vanilla weapons that is fun to play with at times. I recommend getting it. You can also fit an Incarnon adapter on it later on, and since it is a prime weapon, you can get it by cracking the relics. Paris Prime is a Tenno bow that is an upgraded version of the normal Paris bow. It primarily does puncture damage with massive critical chance and good status chance. Since it is a bow, it also works like a bow. Quick shots for less damage, charge shots for more damage, and the charge shot is pretty quick as well, so do that and don't quick shot, it's much better. Other than that, it is just a bow. We can later fix on an Incarnon adapter onto it, and since it is a prime weapon, you can get it by cracking the relics. Glaxion is a Corpus Cryo Beam weapon that is great for freezing enemies. It primarily does cold damage with high status chance and mach critical chance. It excels at freezing enemies and crowd control with a fast fire rate beam. The only problem with this gun is that the range is not the best, so you will have to dodge attacks quite a lot. Other than that, it is a solid weapon with some upgrades that come later on, such as Glaxion Vandal and Tenet Glaxion. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab. Stradavar is a Tenno assault rifle that deals all types of physical damage: impact, puncture, and slash. It has a great critical chance and okay status chance. It has two firing modes. First one is automatic fire mode, which is very accurate and quite fast, and the second one is semi mode. The semi mode is not as good as it could be, since it does about 3 times more damage than the automatic mode, but it can be a good trade-off since you will miss more shots with automatic fire. You can get it on the market, and later on you can upgrade to Stradavar Prime. Lens is a Corpus explosive bow that deals primarily cold damage. It has a massive critical chance and low status chance. The weapon's description of damage is a bit weird because it doesn't make much sense, but yeah, when you shoot with Lens, you will make a bubble of cold around its landing, which will explode in a second. If you shoot your shot so the enemies are inside the bubble, they will get at least one frozen stack on them guaranteed. So yeah, it is weird since the status chance is low. Other than that, Lens does suffer from low ammo capacity with a perk of converting secondary ammo pickups to bow ammo with a 50% efficiency. Lens is fun to play with, but you do have to watch out because of these staggers, even though some mods can alleviate that quite easily. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab, and can later on get the enhanced version, Prisma Lens. Corinth is a Tenno pump action shotgun that has 2 fire modes. First fire mode is just normal shot, which primarily does puncture damage. It has high critical chance and okay status chance. The shots you fire will be grouped together very closely, so there is not a lot of spread, which makes the shotgun extremely accurate, even at long distances and while not aiming. Corinth also has a secondary fire mode, which does blast damage with high status chance and low critical chance. The shot will detonate sometime after you launch it with the alternate fire. It is great at crowd control and eliminating massive groups of enemies. You do have to get the grip of it of how far it will go though. So yeah, you can get it on the market and later on can upgrade with Corinth Prime. Welt is a Tenno rifle that primarily does slash damage, with great critical chance and status chance. It is one of the more basic weapons of Warframe that has only one fire mode: shoot at the enemy while being zoomed out a bit, or while being zoomed in. It is a fun weapon to play with if you want to play a aim-only playstyle, and it does actually quite do a lot of damage, so it might be quite fun for some of you. You can get it on the market. Farmin is a mix between a shotgun and a rifle. It primarily does electricity damage and has 2 firing modes. First firing mode is a shotgun blast with high critical chance and okay status chance. The shotgun firing mode will blast enemies with massive damage, going through them if in a group. Besides that, because of its high damage, it is also great to use against heavy enemies. The second firing mode is an automatic fire with high critical chance and okay status chance. It will fire laser beams at the enemies with pinpoint accuracy. The auto firing mode is great for picking off lower ranking enemies with headshots, while the shotgun blast firing mode is great for groups and heavy enemies. Another pro of this weapon is also that it is rechargeable, which means unlimited ammo, so you don't have to worry at all about it. You can get it on the market and can later get an upgraded version of Farmin Prime. Comorex is an amalgam sniper rifle which primarily deals slash damage and puncture damage. It has a high status chance and OK critical chance. Since it is a sniper rifle, you will zoom in if you aim down, and this is where the fun begins. The 2x zoom will shoot normal shots with high fire rate, but when you zoom in to 3.5 times, you will deal additional viral damage at the cost of some fire rate. This does make the weapon a bit more unique and fun to use. You can get Comorex in the dojo's energy lab. A Celtra is an automatic mini rocket launcher that primarily deals puncture damage. It has great critical chance and low status chance. When shooting it, it has an insanely high fire rate and radial damage around the landed shots. A Celtra also has an additional perk of being reloaded a bit faster while sprinting, which is not a lot, but it still is a good perk. The only con of this weapon is that it will eat through its ammo like candy, so you will have a bit of ammo problems if you don't do a lot of damage. You can get Exceltra from Demolists in infested disruption missions, and can later on upgrade with Exceltra Prime. Cedo is an automatic shotgun that primarily deals puncture damage. It has great critical chance and very low status chance. But the weapon has two fire modes. The first one is an automatic fire, which is just that, automatic fire with low spread, so it is quite accurate. And the second firing mode is a disc throw that will apply random status effects on your enemies. The disc will bounce around the enemies and give them different status effects, which is insane because Cedo has an additional perk, which is massively increased damage for each status effect on the target. This means you should first use the secondary attack and then mow enemies down with the first attack. Obviously, it also excels in closed areas because the disc can just go into oblivion and then come back after a long time. You can get it from the Entratifather at Necrolis. A Fentis is a spear gun that primarily does puncture and blast damage. It has both great status and critical chance. When shooting it, you will see that it deals radial damage as well in the form of blast damage. It is great to go against groups of enemies, but it has a major problem, which is the ammo. You do not have a lot of it. The spear gun also has a secondary fire mode, which will trigger buffs for allies around it if you don't hit any enemies. The buffs increased are fire rate, less recoil, more ammo, and so on. And the effects will last a lot longer if you actually kill an enemy by throwing the spear. So yeah, killing with a spear is the way to go. You can get it from Carl's Garrison. Perigale is a 10-0 burst sniper rifle that primarily does puncture damage. It has great critical chance and status chance. When aiming, you will deal increased critical damage depending on the zoom level as any sniper rifle, but this weapon also has an additional perk, which is quite unique. If you score headshots with 4 rounds in a burst, or if you kill an enemy with a headshot, you will have 100% ammo efficiency for a very short time, which means score headshots, get infinite ammo. While the weapon's recoil is easy to control, it is hard to hit headshots with a whole burst due to impact damage on the rifle, which staggers enemies. Yeah, the ammo capacity you have with it is also a major downside since it is very low, but yeah, if you mod it so you don't deal a lot of impact damage, then yeah, it is extremely good. You can get it as a drop from Conjunction Survivals. Staplos is a shotgun that primarily deals heat damage. It has decent critical chance and great status chance. This shotgun itself is hard to use at times since you do have to be extremely close to the enemy to use it. And you know, Staplos might seem like it has short range, but it actually has an additional perk, which is hitting an enemy will make the shot go forward a bit more. So hitting multiple enemies means it will travel a very long way. Great against groups of enemies and clearing whole hallways. You can get it as a drop from Tayana Pass on Mars. Rauta is a shotgun that is great to combine with a melee weapon. It primarily deals slash damage and has low critical chance and good status chance. The shotgun itself is not the best due to its low fire rate and not so good stats, but it has a very special perk that makes it good to combine with any melee weapon. Every hit landed on the enemy increases your melee multiplier, which increases the amount of damage your melee weapons do. It is a fun way to play with Kullervo, for example, or Varuna, both great melee warframes, or well, pretty much any warframe if you ask me. You can get it in the Duviri. Let's now move on to Mastery Rank 9 primary weapons. Ogris is a Grineer rocket launcher that primarily does blast damage. It has great status chance and low critical chance. To shoot a rocket, you first have to charge it and then shoot. The blast will make a massive explosion with radial attack, great for taking down whole groups of enemies or at least spreading some status on them. You can later on also get a bunch of good mods from the Wraframe arena, but to get it, you can get it in the Dojo Scam Lab, and can later on upgrade by getting Kuva Ogris. Ignis Wraith is an upgraded version of Ignis. It primarily deals heat damage with high status chance and okay critical chance. Ignis Wraith is better than normal Ignis in every aspect and can be used to mow down low-level enemies very quickly, all because of the high fire rate. If someone tries to sell you this weapon for platinum, kindly tell them to eat shit. This is a weapon most scammers try to sell in the past because of limited quantities, let's say. But yeah, if anyone tries to sell it now, just tell them to eat shit. You can get it in the Dojo Scam Lab or from one of the upcoming events. Phantasma is a status-based automatic shotgun that primarily deals radiation damage. It has high status chance and low critical chance. It fires a laser that will go through enemies in a short range. Additionally, it has a secondary fire mode which will fire a blob of plasma. When the blob of plasma hits the ground, smaller pieces of the blob will seek out the nearest enemy and damage them. The number of particles depends on the amount of ammo in the magazine, which is not that large. 5 max, might I add. You can have a lot of ammo problems with this one, but it is extremely good. You can get it on the market and can later also enhance it with an upgrade version, Phantasma Prime. Nagantaka is a crossbow that primarily deals slash damage. It has very high status chance and okay critical chance. It has 2 firing modes. The first one shoots a bolt at a time, which is nothing special, it's literally a crossbow. But the second one shoots a burst of all the bolts left in the magazine, making it great for killing heavy units. Additionally, you will also be able to reload the Nagantaka quicker if you kill an enemy with a headshot, which is good perk to have since you do have to aim with this weapon quite a lot. Also worth mentioning is that the bolts are not the fastest, so the velocity is not that good. But yeah, you will have to lead your shots a bit. You can get this one on the market and can later on get an enhanced version of it, Nagantaka Prime. And that is all of the Mastery Rank 9 weapons. Now let's move to Mastery Rank 10, and there's a lot of them here. Lanka is a corpus charge rifle that primarily deals electricity damage. It has great critical chance and status chance. When shooting it, it acts as a sniper rifle. By aiming, you zoom and deal increased headshot damage. You can charge the shot to the fullest and do more damage, or you can quick shot the enemies, which will reduce the damage, but it's still very good. It can be a very fun sniper rifle to play with. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab. Latron Prime is the upgraded version and the final form of Latron, which primarily does puncture damage. It has great critical chance and status chance. It works as a normal semi-auto rifle, click, and you shoot, which makes it very easy to use. You can later on also upgrade Latron Prime with an Incarnon adapter, which makes it extremely good. You can get it by cracking relics. Strun Wraith is an upgraded version of Strun Shotgun that primarily does impact damage. It has good critical chance and good status chance. It also works exactly the same as the normal Strun. You fire it as a normal shotgun with a buckshot and reload every shell by itself. I myself really like to play with shotguns, and the Strun class is one of my favorites. Later on, you will also be able to get an Incarnon adapter for Strun Wraith or any other Strun to upgrade it even further. You can get it from the Invasions by supporting the Grineer, and can later on also upgrade to the final form of Strun, Strun Prime. Amprex is a Tesla coil weapon that does electricity damage. It has high critical chance and great status chance. Its firing mode can be described as an electricity beam that zaps enemies and slowly cooks them. It is honestly nothing special, but it is a unique weapon visually. Bug Zapper Nation unite! Yeah! You can get it in the dojo's energy lab. Tiburon is a Tenno burst rifle that primarily deals puncture damage. It has high critical chance and okay status chance. Its shooting mode is just normal bursts of 3 rounds, so nothing special. It has large ammo capacity, which makes it very good for longer missions since you'll not run out of ammo that soon, and it is insanely accurate. You can get it on the market and can later upgrade it with Tiburon Prime. Quanta Vandal is an upgraded version of Quanta laser weapon that still does electricity damage on its primary fire and has massively improved stats on every point. It has high critical chance and insane percentage of status chance. It shoots a laser like an automatic weapon on its first firing mode and a cube of destruction on the second firing mode. Hitting the cube will make it explode in a large area, and yeah, it works exactly the same as the normal Quanta, just with improved stats. You can get it from Barrow Kitir when he brings it around. Daikyu is a Tenno bow that primarily does puncture damage. It has massive critical chance and status chance stats. The difference between this bow and the other bows is that this bow has to be charged to the end, which is not that good. The charge rate is extremely slow, but it does a whatever, a lot of damage. I recommend getting it just to try it out. You can get it in the dojo's Tenno lab. Tsuge is an automatic crossbow that primarily does puncture damage. It has great critical chance and great status chance. The magazine capacity of the weapon is huge, but Tsuge still has a great perk, which halves the reload time when the magazine is emptied fully, greatly reducing long reload time. It is a very fun weapon to play with since it is quite unique. You can get it on the market and can later on also upgrade in the enhanced version to get Prime. Tenora is a Tenno rifle that has an automatic mode and a charged mode. Both modes primarily do puncture damage and have great critical chance and status chance. The auto-firing mode will have to wind up a bit but will then shoot extremely fast. On the contrary, the charged shot will shoot only one shot but will take 10 ammo instead in exchange for increased damage. So the auto-shooting mode is better for spreading status effects, and the charged shooting mode is better for high damage and critical attacks. You can get Tenora from the dojo's Tenno lab and can later on upgrade to Tenora Prime. Arca Plasmor is a very good corpus shotgun. It primarily does radiation damage with high critical chance and status chance. It will shoot a shockwave of radiation that will disappear when it hits its first enemy. You can add a mod on it that adds additional punch through, and Arca Plasmor will become one of your best guns. So yeah, believe me, the community absolutely loves it. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab and can later upgrade into Tenet Arca Plasmor. Astilla is a shotgun with exploding glass slugs. It primarily does slash damage and has good critical chance and great status chance. It is an automatic shotgun that shoots with fast fire rate. The glass slugs do explode at the end in a small radial explosion that can damage multiple enemies. Honestly, this shotgun is very fun to play with since you do not have to aim down with it. You can easily fly around and kick ass and cut things, I guess. You can get it on the market and can later upgrade into Astilla Prime. Quartak is a Grineer shotgun rifle mix. It primarily does puncture and impact damage with high status chance and good critical chance. It shoots 4 shots at a time with no damage fall off. This is the main reason why to use Quartak. It is basically a rifle that acts like a shotgun. The best feature of it is very long range firing capability. You can get Quartak as a drop from the Ghoul Purge bounties and can later upgrade into Kuva Quartak. Batacore is a corpus burst rifle that primarily deals magnetic damage. It has very high critical chance and good status chance. It fires bursts of 3 rounds with no recoil, which is very good since you'll be extremely accurate. An additional perk of this weapon is also a charged radiation beam attack, which you can perform if you get 3 kills with the burst shots. It is a very unique weapon to play with, and you can get it in the dojo's energy lab. Baza Prime is a Tenno submachine gun that primarily deals puncture damage. It has high critical chance and okay status chance. Compared to the normal Baza version of the gun, it is better in every way. You do have to be very close to the enemies because of the damage fall off, and the fire rate is extremely high, which is not the best for your ammo economy. A bunch of mods and a good playstyle may also improve on that, obviously. You can get Baza Prime by cracking open relics. Stalta is a corpus automatic plasma rifle that primarily does slash damage. It has good critical chance and status chance. When firing it, it is very accurate, but the fire rate is not the best. You can also use the secondary fire mode, which will charge the weapon and shoot a massive beam of energy that will explode sometime after landing. The explosion will deal radiation damage in a very wide area. You can get Stalta by farming it in the Granum Void. So yeah, good luck. Ambassador is a Corpus automatic rifle and a sniper rifle in the same gun. It primarily deals electricity damage with OK critical chance and high status chance. It has a very fast fire rate, but it more or less shoots like a normal rifle. If you want to, you can change it into a charged sniper rifle in its secondary mode, which will consume half of the magazine per shot and will deal a large electricity explosion after it shoots the land. Honestly, Ambassador is not the best of weapons, but it is very unique and fun to play with. You can get it as a drop from Railjack's Aurax Arachnoids. Aeolak is a void-corrupted assault rifle that primarily does puncture damage. It has good critical chance and high status chance. Its automatic fire is a bit slower but can easily be enhanced with a couple of mods. It also has a secondary fire mode that will shoot out a charged explosive that will deal damage to enemies in a medium area. Honestly, it is just a normal gun with a grenade launcher, so yeah, it is quite fun to play with, let's say. You can get it from Zariman bounties. Evensong is a Tenno bow that primarily deals slash damage. It has great critical chance and very high status chance. Great for slash procs. You can either quick shot it or charge it, with the charge attack dealing far more damage. Evensong also has an additional perk, which is extremely good. You will apply 7 puncture stacks on every enemy you hit, which means it will not be able to do any damage to you for a short duration. This is great when you have to deal with bombards, for example, or napalms. Also, you can only quick shot them. It doesn't have to be a charged shot. Just shoot them and poof, no more damage. Does it make sense? Not really, but does anyone care? Maybe some people, but you know, it's good. You can get it as a drop in the Ascension mode on Uranus. Zenith is a Tenno assault and semi-auto rifle that primarily deals slash damage. It has max critical chance and high status chance. It has 2 firing modes. The first one is an automatic fire mode, which is self-explanatory, fast fire rate, hail of lead. On the opposite side, the secondary fire mode will shoot out a disc, which will reveal enemy heads in a short range around it. At this point, Zenith will only shoot in the semi-auto mode, which will get infinite punch through, which is absolutely amazing. You can shoot through walls and stuff. You can get Zenith as a login reward on the 100th day of login, 300th, 500th, or 700th day. So yeah, quite a lot of login days. So yeah, that is all the Mastery Rank 10 primary weapons. There was a lot of them, but now let's move to Mastery Rank 11 primary weapons. And there's a lot of them here as well. Bore Prime is an automatic shotgun that primarily deals impact damage. It has OK critical chance and high status chance. It will shoot an automatic barrage of lead with high fire rate, but other than that, this weapon is not that unique. The ammo capacity can be a bit lacking sometimes, but the best thing is that you also get an Incarnon adapter for it, which will spice things up quite a bit. You can get Bore Prime by cracking relics. Synapse is an infested corrosive beam weapon that deals corrosive damage. It has very high critical chance and OK status chance. It fires a laser beam that deals damage to enemies, and that is kind of it. It does damage to enemies. What a description. The weapon looks extremely cool if you ask me, but acts a bit too basic in my opinion. You can get it in the dojo's biolab. Phage is an infested laser shotgun that primarily does viral damage. It has good critical chance and high status chance. The weapon is quite unique since it fires 6 lasers that will come together if you aim. You can also not aim and keep the lasers apart, or aim a little and slowly make them come together. It is a very unique gun to play with, and I recommend you get it sometimes because, well, there is no other gun in the game like it. You can get it in the dojo's biolab. Buzlok is a Grineer automatic sniper rifle that primarily does impact damage. It has good critical chance and status chance, great for a hybrid build. You can shoot Buzlok by itself with a high fire rate, automatic fire, or you can trace an enemy that will lead all your shots to it, even if you're looking in the opposite direction. Just use the secondary fire mode to shoot one trace, and then shoot your normal automatic fire. It is a fun weapon to play with, but it is not the best out of the whole arsenal. You can get it in the dojo's chem lab. Prisma Gorgon is an upgraded version and the final version of the Gorgon family tree that will primarily do impact damage. It has great critical chance and good status chance. It still fires the same old automatic barrage that every Grineer machine gun does, so it is not that special. You still need to wait up a bit so it winds up, but honestly, it is quite good, just not extremely good. You can get it from Barrow if he brings it around. Prisma Grakata is an upgraded version of the normal Grakata that primarily deals impact damage. It has great critical chance and status chance. When it comes to gameplay, it is just a normal Grakata with increased stats, higher fire rate, and more ammo. Other than that, it is the same old SMG V-Dub. You can get it from Barrow Kitir when he comes around. Bazmu is a sentient rifle that is quite unique. It primarily deals electricity damage and heat damage on its radial attack. It has okay critical chance and great status chance. The first firing mode is an automatic fire, which will shoot bolts at a fast pace. When your magazine empties, you will drain your life essence from nearby enemies and will heal yourself just a bit. The magazine will also recharge, so don't worry about running out of ammo. Bazmu also has a secondary fire, which will deal damage to the enemies in 2 massive arcs. The weapon is extremely fun to use, and I recommend getting it when you can, because it is very unique. You can get it during the Nabarus event. And that is it for Mastery Rank 11 primary weapons. Let's now go to Mastery Rank 12. Supra is a corpus machine gun that primarily does puncture damage. It has okay critical chance and decent status chance. Its firing mode is not that special, an automatic fire that shoots extremely fast. It may be a bit hard to control, so be sure to not aim that much. The screen shake from the recoil can give you a bad headache, believe me. But yeah, you can get it from the dojo's energy lab. Burston Prime is an upgraded version of the normal Burston family. It primarily deals slash damage with good critical chance and great status chance. It shoots in bursts of 3 rounds with very high fire rate and damage output, even unmodded. It is extremely fun to use due to its accuracy as well. Later on, you will also be able to upgrade it and shoot with the Incarnon form, which is amazing. It's just really good. But yeah, you can get it by cracking open relics. Rakta Cernos is a red veil bow that primarily does impact damage. It has very high critical chance and okay status chance. It is a bow, so you can either quick shot it or use the charged attacks, with the latter dealing more damage. This bow also has a unique ability called Blight, which will activate when you kill enough enemies and fill up the Syndicate meter. When the ability activates, it will make a viral damage explosion around you, refilling 25% of your energy and making you a tiny bit faster for some time. It is a very nice bow to play with just for energy regen in my opinion, so yeah, you can get it from the Red Veil Syndicate. Sancti Tigris is a double-barreled shotgun of the new Loka that primarily does slash damage. It has okay critical chance and status chance, and it works as the first Tigris shotgun we did. Click for both shots or click and hold for one shot and then release for the second shot. Sancti Tigris is a more critical-based Tigris shotgun with slightly higher critical damage. Additionally, it also has an ability that will make a corrosive explosion around you when you kill enough enemies, while also restoring 25% of your health and increasing your health for a large amount for some time. Quite a unique ability. You can get it from the new Loka Syndicate. Secura Penta is a massively upgraded version of the normal Penta grenade launcher. It primarily does blast damage with great critical chance and status chance. It works the same way as the normal Penta. You shoot the grenades that fall on the ground, and after you're happy with the placement, you can detonate them with the secondary fire. In addition, Secura Penta also has an ability which will cause an explosion around you, dealing radiation damage. At the same time, it will also regenerate 25% of your shields and give you a huge amount of additional shield capacity for some time. Always when I talk about shields and shield capacity, I think about Hildrin, so yeah, if you like Hildrin, this might be the gun to use with her, even though it's not that good, you know. You can get it from the Parent Sequence Syndicate. Cynoid Simulor is an upgraded version of the Simulor that primarily deals magnetic damage. It has okay critical chance and high status chance. It works much in the same way as the normal Simulor. If you shoot one shot, an orb of light will explode, and if you shoot a few, you'll make a vortex that will suck enemies in, dealing additional magnetic damage over time. Shooting through the singularity or vortex with any weapon will give your shots additional critical chance, critical damage, and electricity damage. Additionally, Cynoid Simulor also has the ability that will make a magnetic explosion around you when you kill enough enemies. It will also restore 25% of your energy and increase your energy capacity by a huge amount for a short time. It is really good. You can get it from the Cephalon Suda Syndicate. Telos Boltor is an upgraded version of the Boltor that primarily does puncture damage. It has very high critical chance and okay status chance. It shoots much in the same way as the normal Boltor does, fast fire rate bolt fire, pinning enemies to the walls and such. But yeah, Telos Boltor has an additional ability that will make a gas explosion around you when you kill enough enemies. Besides that, it will also regenerate 25% of your health and have increased parkour velocity for a short time. Later on, you may also upgrade it with an Incarnon adapter. And yeah, you can get it from the Arbiters of Hexis Syndicate. Vapor Heck is a Steel Meridian shotgun that is a massive improvement over the standard Heck shotgun. Primarily, it deals puncture damage with great critical chance and high status chance. The main difference between this Heck and the standard version of it is the critical chance and the magazine capacity, since it is a lot higher, both stats. It also has a higher fire rate, so it is easier to damage enemies faster, I guess. But yeah, Vapor Heck also has an ability that will make a blast explosion around you when you kill enough enemies. Additionally, it will also restore 25% of your health and will give you increased armor for some time. You can get it from the Steel Meridian Syndicate. And that is all the Syndicate weapons we have in the game. Cernos Prime is an upgraded version of the Cernos bow, which primarily does impact damage. It has very high critical chance and status chance. The main difference between the normal Cernos and Cernos Prime is the Cernos Prime shoots 3 arrows at once. You can also switch between vertical and horizontal fire, which is fine, I guess. Additional perk of the Cernos Prime is also increased headshot damage, which can be quite fine as well, I guess. I mean, there are 3 arrows, so I guess you will hit a headshot with at least one. But yeah, I recommend using the vertical mode when you go against heavy enemies and horizontal mode when going against low-ranking enemies, I guess. You can get Cernos Prime by cracking relics. Sybaris Prime is a massively upgraded version of the normal Sybaris. It primarily does all types of physical damage, impact, slash, and puncture. It also has high critical chance and great status chance. When shot, it works exactly the same as the standard Sybaris. It shoots 2 shots at the same time and then unloads the casings. It is extremely satisfying to play with because of the little clicking sounds each time you reload, so yeah, I recommend getting it just for that. You can get the Sybaris Prime by cracking relics. Rubico Prime is an upgraded version of the standard Rubico sniper rifle that primarily deals impact damage. It has insanely high critical chance and good status chance. As a sniper rifle, it works as any other sniper rifle, kind of. When you aim, you zoom in and deal increased critical damage depending on your zoom, so not headshot damage, critical damage. The sniper rifle does have a high fire rate and is very good. I remember Rubico and Rubico Prime being used as the go-to weapon for Eidolon hunts. Those were not the good old days, but the days of the Eidolon toxicity, so yeah, Rubico Prime did kind of save everyone, I guess. You can get Rubico Prime by cracking relics. Stradivar Prime is an upgraded version of the normal Stradivar. It primarily does all types of physical damage, impact, slash, and puncture. It has great critical chance and okay status chance. Talking about firing modes, it has 2. Automatic fire will fire in automatic mode and semi-fire will fire in semi-auto mode. Yeah, it is a great gun to play with, very fun, just a bit basic, I guess. It does a lot of damage though, so you know, you can get it by cracking relics. Glaxion Vandal is an upgraded version of the standard Glaxion that primarily deals cold damage. It has great critical chance and very high status chance. It still shoots a glacial beam that freezes enemies in mere seconds. It is a fun gun to play with. This Glaxion also has a bit of radial damage, which turns enemies close to it into popsicles, I guess? It is quite fun, you know? You can get it from Barrow-Kitir when he brings it around. Quelor is a Dax machine gun that primarily does puncture and cold damage. It has OK critical chance and high status chance. It fires rounds at medium fire rate. Due to its large magazine though, you will not run out of ammo anytime soon. Additionally, Quelor has a second firing mode, which is a charge attack that does impact damage on hit. It might not be the best of guns, but if you want to have a reliable gun that can shoot for a very long time, Quelor is your gun. You can get it as a drop from Grineer captains in Grineer Railjack missions. Nagantaka Prime is an improved version of the Nagantaka crossbow. It primarily does slash damage with great critical chance and high status chance. It has two firing modes. The first one is normal crossbow bolt, great for being very accurate, and the second one is the unloading of the whole magazine with automatic fire, which does a lot of damage to the enemies. An additional perk of this weapon is that headshot kills will increase the reload speed of the next reload, which is actually not that good since the reload is quite quick. You can get Nagantaka Prime by opening Prime relics. Prisma Lens is an upgraded version of the normal lens bow. It primarily does cold and blast damage. It has very high critical chance and OK status chance. When shooting, you will shoot an explosive arrow that will explode a second after it lands. On the initial hit, you will deal cold damage, and on the explosions, you will deal blast damage. The fire rate of Prisma Lens is a lot better than the normal lens, so it is a massive improvement. You do still have very low ammo capacity, so Prisma Lens will be able to convert secondary weapon ammo into bow ammo with 50% efficiency. That is good. You can get Prisma Lens from Barrow Kitir when he brings it around. Fulmin Prime is an upgraded version of the Fulmin that primarily does electricity damage. It has great critical chance and good status chance. You have two firing modes, just like the normal Fulmin does. The first firing mode is a shotgun blast that will go through enemies and kill them extremely quickly, great for groups of enemies and heavy enemies. And the secondary fire mode is an automatic laser that will do low damage. Because of this, it is better to use against low-ranking enemies. The magazine is rechargeable, so you will never get out of ammo on this one. So, you know, a massive pro here as well. You can get it by cracking open relics. Just a bit more, man. Just a bit more. There's like, what, 30 more weapons or something left? Jesus Christ. Okay, let's now move on to Mastery Rank 13 primary weapons. Boltor Prime is an upgraded version of the standard Boltor in every way. It primarily does puncture damage with OK critical chance and high status chance. Boltor Prime shoots an automatic barrage of bolts that pin enemies to the walls at high fire rate. It is fun to use, but it honestly is nothing special compared to some other weapons we got on this mastery rank. You can later on also upgrade Boltor Prime with an Incarnon adapter to make it extremely good, but yeah, to get it, you need to open Crack Relics. Crack Relics? What? Okay, I'm leaving that in, that's too good. Tigris Prime is an upgraded version of the normal Tigris that primarily does slash damage. It has OK critical chance and good status chance. It works as every other Tigris weapon before, click for both shots and click and hold for one shot, release for the other shot. It is a very good gun to use on heavy enemies and low ranking enemies that are not in groups. It's basically the super shotgun but golden. Time to rip and tear until it is done, I guess. You can get it by cracking open relics. Kuva Dragoon is an upgraded version of the standard Dragoon. It primarily deals slash damage and damage that depends on your progenitor Warframe, since it is from a Kuva lich. It has good critical chance and status chance. Kuva Dragoon has two firing modes, same as the normal Dragoon. You can just click and shoot quick shots that don't deal that much damage, or you can charge your shot and aim a bit. Charging a shot is quite easy, so it shouldn't be a problem doing it. But yeah, you can also see that the shots bounce around a couple of times, making it great for eliminating groups of enemies. You can get it by eliminating your Kuva lich. Kuva Karak is the upgraded version of the normal Karak, which is better in almost every way. It primarily deals the damage type of your progenitor Warframe, but also deals every other physical damage type: impact, slash, and puncture. It has great critical chance and high status chance. Its firing mode is automatic fire with high fire rate as normal Karak, so once again, a very basic gun that can be very powerful and fun to use. You can get it by eliminating your Kuva lich. Shedu is an arm cannon that primarily deals heat and electricity damage. It has great critical chance and status chance. When shot, it creates an explosion on the ground that does radial damage. It also has rechargeable ammo that actually has a perk to it. When you deplete your ammo, you will create a small explosion around you that will remove all sentient adaptations. So yeah, it is good to use against the sentients. Other than that, the weapon is very fun to use. You can get it as a drop from the sentients and from the Cephalon Samaris. Trumna is an Entrati automatic explosive rifle. It primarily does heat damage and does radial damage as well. It has good critical chance and great status chance. The automatic fire is extremely nice or satisfying to use since it is not the fastest. This allows you to aim a bit, I guess. The magazine capacity is absolutely huge, which is why the reload speed of this weapon is absolute garbage. While Trumna is good on its own, it also has an alternate fire, which needs to be charged up by killing 5 enemies. Once it is charged up, the alternate fire will shoot an explosive shot that will destroy large groups of enemies with a wild explosion. It is a very fun dynamic weapon to use, so be sure to get it at some point. You can get it from the fodder at Necrolist. Bubonico is an infested hand cannon that primarily deals slash damage on its first firing mode. The first firing mode has good critical chance and great status chance. It shoots an automatic fire of infested bolts that pin enemies to the walls. Occasionally, you will also see it doing toxin damage, but you can easily change that with some mods. Bubonico also has a second firing mode that primarily does viral status damage. It has great status chance and terrible critical chance. When shot, it will shoot a burst of 3 explosive shots that will destroy small groups and spread status like crazy. The ammo is rechargeable as well, so you don't have to worry about going out of it anytime soon. You can get it in the dojo's biolab. Sporothrix is an infested sniper rifle that primarily does slash damage and toxin damage. It has almost no critical chance, but one of the highest status chances in the game. Since it is a sniper rifle, aiming down will scope you in and will allow you to do more headshot damage. The shots are also quite unique. You first shoot a normal shot that will deal quite a lot of damage to the enemy, and after some time, the shot will explode and do a bit of radial damage. The Sporothrix is very fun to play due to its exploding bullets, but other than that, it is yet another sniper rifle, so it isn't that good to use in every occasion. You can get it as a drop in the Isobald bounties. Kuva Comb is an upgraded version of the Comb automatic shotgun that primarily does slash damage and your progenitor Warframe's damage, minus radiation. It has good critical chance and the highest status chance in the game. It shoots an automatic barrage of shotgun fire with a fast fire rate. Each shot will use up more and more ammo and shoot more and more pellets at the enemy. Because of this, going full auto and not stopping is the best option. Kuva Comb is also amazing at spreading status effect because of its very high status chance, so be sure to play around a bit. A very satisfying gun to use. You can get it from your QuadLyStop. Kuva Quartak is an upgraded version of the Quartak Grenier rifle shotgun thingy. It primarily does slash damage and puncture damage, with the damage from your progenitor Warframe as well. For me, it is Toxin. Kuva Quartak has two firing modes. First one is auto, which has good critical chance and high status chance. To shoot it like that, you have to shoot it from the hip, or you can start shooting from the hip and then aim. The second firing mode has great critical chance and status chance. It basically turns Kuva Quartak into a shotgun that is this time semi-automatic. The auto-firing mode is good to spread status, while the second one is better for precise headshots and critical hits. You can get it from your QuadLyStop. Kuva Tongkor is an upgraded version of the Tongkor grenade launcher that will primarily do blast damage and your progenitor Warframe's damage. It has great critical chance and good status chance. It is nothing special, it shoots out an explosive round of radial damage that goes boom in a large area. Other than that, I have to say that it is extremely powerful and easy to use. Also, the reload is extremely quick, so, you know, when you get it, try playing with it, it is very fun. You can get it from your QuadLyStop. And that is all for Mastery Rank 13 primary weapons. Let's move on to Mastery Rank 14 primary weapons. Opticore is a charged laser beam that primarily does puncture and magnetic damage. It has good critical chance and status chance. To use it, you can either quickshot it or charge it up. The latter firing mode will obviously do more damage. After you hit a target, the shot will also explode and deal a large amount of magnetic radial damage. Great to use against anything shielded or overguarded, I guess. Opticore is a fun gun to use from time to time, but the time it takes to aim and charge may be a bit too much sometimes when overwhelmed with enemies. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab. Vectis Prime is an upgraded version of the Vectis sniper rifle that primarily deals puncture and impact damage. It has great critical chance and status chance. When shooting it, it only fires 2 shots with a quick reload. Of course, since it is a sniper rifle, it also has an additional bonus to headshot damage depending on the zoom level. Other than that, the sniper rifle is quite bland if you ask me, but very easy to use. You can get it by cracking open relics. Ferox is a corpus spear gun that primarily does puncture damage. It has high critical chance and okay status chance. It shoots a charged explosive shot with a large explosion that is great for dealing with groups of enemies. Additionally, you can also throw Ferox at your enemies, which will pull enemies in and slowly kill them with electricity damage as it pulses. The throwable lasts quite some time, so it is great for crowd control. You also still keep your spear gun, so you can shoot and have the throwable at the same time. You can get it from the dojo's energy lab. Supra Vandal is a slightly better version of the original Supra machine gun. It primarily does puncture damage with okay critical chance and high status chance. It still works the same as any other machine gun though. You hold, and a hail of automatic fire comes out of your gun at a high fire rate. This time, Supra Vandal also has a bit less recoil and increased magazine, which is great for shooting even longer. You can get it from Barrow-Kitir when he comes around. Tiburon Prime is a rifle that primarily does puncture damage. It has 3 firing modes: Burst, Semi, and Auto. Burst mode has great critical chance and good status chance. Semi mode has great critical chance and good status chance. And the automatic mode has okay critical chance and great status chance. The rule of thumb here is that if the weapon shoots faster, it will have less critical chance, but more status chance. When shooting, you can switch between the different fire modes to suit your needs. When going against a group, use automatic fire, when going against a heavy enemy, use semi, and while you just jump around and have fun, use burst. At least that's what I do. You can get Tiburon Prime by cracking open relics. Tsuge Prime is an upgraded version of the standard Tsuge automatic crossbow. It primarily does puncture damage and has great critical chance and status chance. When firing, you do have to lead your shots a bit to hit the target over long distances. The fire rate of Tsuge Prime is very good, it is fun and easy to use, and also comes with an additional perk of halved reload time when you fully empty the magazine. The only bad thing about this gun is that it is not that great against groups of enemies, but it is amazing against individual enemies or small groups of low-ranking enemies, if you ask me. You can get it by cracking open relics. Corinth Prime is an upgraded version of the standard Corinth shotgun that primarily does puncture damage. It has great critical chance and okay status chance on its first firing mode, which is a normal buckshot shell shot. Besides the normal firing mode, you also have the airburst round that can be fired and detonated mid-air whenever you want. The airburst does radial damage with low critical chance and very high status chance, so it is great for spreading status effects and dealing with groups of low-ranking enemies. It was one of my favorite weapons for a long time because of this, and it is my most used weapon as well, to this time. You can get it by cracking open relics. Panthera Prime is an upgraded version of the Panthera Sawblade Thrower that primarily does slash damage. It has good critical chance and high status chance, great for applying status effects. On the primary firing mode, it shoots saw blades at very fast rate. The saw blades do bounce a couple of times, which makes them great for battling in tight spaces or against groups of enemies. Additionally, Panthera Prime has a secondary fire mode, which holds a saw blade in front of you that slashes enemies. I don't really like this because it makes you a huge immobile target, and it is bullying. Just, why would you do that to an enemy, huh? This is not Saw, this is Warframe. We have better weapons to slash enemies with. You can get Panthera Prime by cracking open relics. Tenora Prime is an upgraded version of the standard Tenora Tenno assault rifle. It primarily does puncture damage with high critical chance and great status chance on its automatic firing mode. On the contrary, the charged shot it can shoot has a very high critical chance and good status chance. The weapon itself shoots at a very fast rate that is easy to control since there is not much recoil. You also get enough ammo for holding your ground for a long time. The charged shot will take 10 shots of your magazine but will do more damage, so great for dealing with heavy enemies. You can get it by cracking open relics. Astilla Prime is an upgraded version of the Astilla automatic glass shotgun. It primarily does slash damage with good critical chance and high status chance. It shoots an automatic barrage of glass slugs that shatter on impact, dealing radial damage. The gun is very satisfying to use and it is a massive improvement compared to the standard version. It is quite good as well because it performs good even when you don't aim it. So yeah, it is nice. You can get it by cracking open relics. Strun Prime is an upgraded version of the Strun shotgun family. It primarily does impact and slash damage with great critical chance and okay status chance. Strun Prime works as a normal Strun shotgun, with normal shotgun gameplay and 1x1 round reload. It is a very satisfying shotgun to play with because of the little kickbacks every time you shoot. Also, later on you can get an Incarnon adapter for it. You can get Strun Prime by cracking open relics. Scourge Prime is an upgraded version of the normal Scourge that improves on almost every stat. It primarily does corrosive damage with okay critical chance and high status chance. The spear gun will fire plasma shots at a fast rate that you will have to lead a bit. It is automatic and has a big magazine, so it is very reliable. Additionally, throwing Scourge Prime will give an enemy near it head attractors for bullets, which means every gun that has bullets will automatically go for their heads. Neil is the best weapon to use with this if you ask me, a secondary pistol. But it also helps the allies score headshots as well. You can get Scourge Prime by cracking open relics. Fenmore is an Incarnon weapon that works like a semi-auto rifle. In its normal mode, it primarily does slash damage with good critical chance and status chance. Fenmore's firing mode is the usual semi-auto mode. I will not show you the Incarnon version of it, but I have to say it is one of my favorite machine guns in the game. It is super fun to use. You can get it from Cavallero on the Zariman. Felarx is an Incarnon automatic rifle that works like a shotgun. It primarily does slash damage and has decent critical and status chance. Even though this is an Incarnon weapon, I will not show you how the Incarnon version works. We will only look at the normal version. The normal version shoots an automatic fire of multiple rounds per shot. After you're done with shooting, you will have to reload the gun one bullet at a time. The gun might not look the best right away, but it can easily destroy anything when used correctly and all Incarnoned up. You can get it from Cavallero on the Zariman. Phantasma Prime is an upgraded version of the Phantasma plasma shotgun. It primarily does radiation damage with okay critical chance and high status chance. It fires an automatic plasma beam that goes through enemies in a certain range, great for dealing with groups of enemies. Additionally, you can also shoot plasma blobs which will explode on impact and spawn small particles that will go towards the closest enemy, damaging them. It is a fun shotgun to play with, especially when going against massive amounts of low-ranking enemies. You can get it by cracking open relics. Gotva Prime is an Orokin assault rifle that primarily does puncture damage. It has good critical chance and great status chance. It fires a normal automated fire with high fire rate and not much recoil, but it also has a hidden mechanic. Each time you apply a status effect, there is a 15% chance your next shot will do critical damage, regardless of your weapon's critical chance. The critical chance will automatically be 300%, so red crits. Because of this, Gotva Prime is quite a unique weapon. You can get it from Barrel Ketir when he brings it around. Exceltra Prime is an upgraded version of Exceltra that primarily does puncture damage. It has high critical chance and good status chance, which is not usual for automatic weapons. It shoots an automated barrage of mini rockets that destroy anything with their radial attacks. It is a very good weapon to use against groups of enemies, but it lacks one thing: ammo. At least when faced with multiple heavy enemies that drain your ammo like it's a Slurpee. But some good mods can fix that easily. You can get Exceltra Prime by cracking open relics. Opticore Vandal is a different version of Opticore with faster fire rate and massively increased damage, but with less critical chance and status chance. It primarily does puncture damage on hit and magnetic damage with its radial attack. It has good critical chance and good status chance. When shooting, you can quickshot it or charge it, with the latter doing far more damage. The charge rate is extremely quick, so be sure not to quickshot it. It's a waste of potential. You can get it by doing a lot of Thermia fractures. And that is it for Mastery Rank 14 primary weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 15 primary weapons. Kuva Brahma is an explosive bow that primarily does blast damage. It has great critical chance and good status chance. It fires an explosive arrow that explodes on impact, dealing radial damage in a large area around it. It is great for clearing large groups of enemies or a whole room. You can also detonate the arrow mid-air with the alternate fire mode. So yeah, just click and boom. Kuva Brahma is a very fun weapon to use for the first time you use it, but then you figure out you need to modify it for better ammo economy since it only has 5 shots. It is absolutely terrible for assassination missions, but yeah, it is a fun weapon to play with nonetheless. You can get it from your Kuva Lich. Kuva Hind is an upgraded version of the Hind Grenier Burst Rifle. It primarily does slash damage and your progenitor Warframe's damage, radiation in my case. Kuva Hind has 3 firing modes: Burst, Semi, and Auto. Burst mode has great critical chance and high status chance, Semi mode has great critical chance and good status chance, and Auto mode has good critical chance and great status chance. You can switch between the modes as much as you like, with the rule of thumb being, the faster you shoot, less critical chance you will have, and more status chance you will have. Kuva Hind is a very nice basic gun to play with at times, and is probably one of my favorites visually. You can get it from your Kuva Lich. Proboscis Cernos is the final form of the Cernos bow family tree. It primarily does slash damage with its normal attack and viral damage with the radial attack. It has meh critical chance and very high status chance. It shoots an arrow that will pull enemies from far away. While this is going on, it will damage the enemies a bit, with pulses I guess, but the final form of damage will come from an explosion. It is absolutely amazing at dealing with large groups of enemies, but it does have one flaw, that being low ammo capacity. It is absolutely terrible to take it on assassination missions. You can get Proboscis Cernos on the market. Kuva Zar is an upgraded version of the standard Grineer Zar cannon. In its cannon firing mode, it primarily does blast damage with great critical chance and high status chance. It shoots a cannonball that blows up enemies in a large area. Additionally, the cannonball will split and explode sometimes, dealing even more damage. The second firing mode is a barrage, which primarily does puncture damage and your progenitor Warframe status damage. For me, it is heat. The barrage focuses on high critical chance and good status chance. It fires a buckshot-like round that doesn't have a wide spread like the standard Zar version does. I still think that the barrage fire mode is not that good since you have a limited amount of ammo that you will deplete very quickly. If you really figure out the ammo economy, you can get it working nonetheless. You can get it from your kuva. Kuva Sobek is an upgraded Sobek automatic shotgun. It primarily deals impact damage and your progenitor Warframe's damage. For me, it is cold. It has great critical chance and very high status chance. To be honest, it is nothing special. It shoots normal shotgun buckshot rounds with an automatic fire mode. It is far better if you aim down since you will actually hit everything. Because yeah, you will not hit anything if you don't aim it down. It is just a weird feeling to shoot like that. The fire rate does need some improvement to be honest, but you can easily do that with some mods. You can get it from your kuva. Kuva Chakur is a Grineer rifle that primarily deals impact damage on direct hit and your progenitor Warframe's damage and puncture damage on its radial attack. The gun is very hard to use, but it has an additional perk. It deals 50% more damage on direct headshot hits. The fire rate of the Kuva Chakur is not that good and the recoil is quite high. You do have to aim a lot to actually hit something, even though the shots do a very small radial blast when they hit. All of the bad things I mentioned here are in exchange for massive damage output, so yeah, it is a good weapon. It is just easy to get overwhelmed with enemies while using it. Try using it on heavy enemies though. It is absolutely amazing. You can get it from your kuva. Kuva Ogriz is an upgraded Ogriz rocket launcher that primarily does explosive damage. It has okay critical chance and great status chance. Compared to the normal Ogriz, Kuva Ogriz doesn't have a chargeable rocket. You only need to click to shoot it, which is absolutely amazing. It does a massive explosion that deals radial damage to enemies around it, but yeah, other than that, this is just a normal rocket launcher. You can get it from your kuva. Kuva Heck is an upgraded version of the Heck shotgun that primarily does puncture damage. It has both great critical chance and status chance. It works absolutely the same as any shotgun with buckshot rounds, but it does also have a secondary fire mode, which will empty all 4 rounds of your mag at once. Because of this, it is a great weapon to use against extremely heavy units such as Demolists. I recommend trying it out if you like playing with the shotguns. You can get it from your kuva. And that is it for Mastery Rank 15 primary weapons. Now let's go to the last Mastery Rank 16. Tenet Arca Plasmor is an upgraded version of the Arca Plasmor shotgun that primarily deals radiation damage. It has good critical chance and great status chance. It shoots a white shot of Corpus Propaganda that bounces off the first enemy you hit and diverts its way towards the closest enemy going through it. Because of this, it is great against groups of enemies. And it is also a completely solid choice against heavy enemies as well. So be sure to use it. You can get it from your Sister of Parvos. Tenet Ferox is an upgraded version of the Ferox staff gun. It primarily does puncture damage with both attacks, direct hits, and its radial attack. It has high critical chance and OK status chance. It shoots an automatic charge shot that explodes on impact, dealing massive damage to groups of enemies. The fire rate is not the best due to the charging, but that can easily be improved with a couple of mods. Additionally, you can also throw Tenet Ferox, which will pull enemies in after it lands. It will stay there for quite some time and pull enemies in, periodically dealing electricity damage to them. It is very good for crowd control. You can get Tenet Ferox from your Sister of Parvos. Tenet Glaxion is an upgraded version of all the Glaxion Glacial Beam weapons that primarily does cold damage, plus the damage of your progenitor Warframe. It has good critical chance and very high status chance. When shot, the beam will hit one enemy and latch onto a few more enemies close to it, making it great for spreading status effects. I myself love to use it for freezing the enemies since it immobilizes them, but you can also go with any other status effect and do a good job. You can get it from your Sister of Parvos. Tenet Envoy is a guided missile launcher that primarily does cold damage and your progenitor Warframe's damage. For me, that is Toxin, so I do viral damage. It has great critical chance and good status chance. You can use it in two ways. First way is off the hip while not aiming it. This will make the rocket go insanely fast towards the point you are looking at. And the second way is while aiming. This way the rocket will go slower, but you will be able to aim it and guide it. You can also switch between the modes, like shooting while aiming it and then leaving it to be faster. When the rocket hits the ground, it will also make a large explosion of Corpus Propaganda, clearing massive groups of enemies. You can get it from your Sister of Parvos. Tenet Flux Rifle is an upgraded version of the normal Flux Rifle. It primarily does slash damage with good critical chance and great status chance. It fires an extremely fast automatic stream of plasma that is very easy to control. It has a good magazine capacity, but it is not rechargeable compared to the normal Flux Rifle. You do still have a huge magazine capacity, but you will have to look for ammo at some point. You can get it from your Sister of Parvos. Tenet Tetra is an upgraded version of the Tetra family tree that primarily does puncture damage and your progenitor Warframe's damage. For me, that is radiation. It has great critical chance and status chance. On its main firing mode, it shoots slow fire rate rounds that you do have to lead a bit, but it has a huge magazine capacity, so running out of ammo shouldn't be a problem. Unless you're using the secondary fire mode, that is. On the secondary fire mode, you will shoot out the whole magazine in a large explosion. This way you will easily deal with smaller groups of enemies, but in reality, I think it is not that good due to chewing up all your ammo like mentats. You can get it from your sister of Parvos. And that is it for all the primary weapons of Warframe. Now, this video was really fucking hard to make, so thank you for watching if you made it all the way through. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. A few things I really want to say for the end. Thank you everyone for supporting me and my channel over the years. It means a lot to me. Every single view, every single subscriber, every single comment, it is priceless. Before I end the video, I will also go on a quick rant about the primary weapons, a few things that I really want to say about them. First off, this video was a showcase of all the primary weapons in their firing mode, so I know not the best representation for every single weapon since they do damage enemies in different ways. I know that, but you can make every single weapon in the game good with mods. Even Mark 1 Braton, for example. It is one of my favorite weapons to this day, and I think I have around 35 or even 40 formats on it. And I play Steel Path exclusively, so, you know, it's a lot. Of course, some weapons are worse than the others, but honestly, bickering which weapon is better is kinda stupid because the playstyle of people is different. Also, the Warframe you play with can completely change the way you play. My main Warframe is Mirage Prime. Mirage Prime has the Hall of Mirrors ability with a lot of doppelgangers, which makes it great for AoE damage because holy moly, there's so much area it can cover. For real, it can destroy groups of enemies or even rooms of enemies sometimes. And the damage increase is also insane, so, you know, great. Of course, different people also like different weapons for different tasks. For example, Rubico Prime is great for Eidolon hunts, Ignis is great for low-level relic cracking, Mark 1 Braton is the best gun in the game, no debate. And I haven't even mentioned the Incarnon adapters, which change the game on many of these weapons we mentioned. Saying that, if you want to see how every single Incarnon adapter works, watch the video somewhere on my channel about all the Incarnon firing modes. Now, I have changed my opinion on many of those, so, you know, Vasto Prime and the infested double pistols, I forgot the name, they are really good. I also want to mention my favorite primary weapon, my guilty pleasure, let's say, which is Sparrowthrix. Sparrowthrix is a sniper rifle that is so freaking fun to use for me. I don't know, there is a couple of mods that I got on there that are extremely cool, like the shot exploding right away, which makes it far better, but mentioning that, some guns do have mods that make them behave a lot differently than what I showed here, so if you like the gun, be sure to check it out a bit on the wiki, because that is the best source for pretty much everything Warframe, and ask other people what they think about this gun, you know? Of course, don't forget that people's opinions are subjective and there is no objective thing here, because there is so many variables in gameplay, from your playstyle, to the enemies, to the type of mission you are playing. Like, Kuvazar may be one of the best explosive weapons in the game, but its ammo economy is ass! Like, what? See, there is a lot of variables here that you have to take into account. But at this point I really am just rambling, so thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, or maybe even subscribe, and also have a very nice day. Bye guys.
You have but 60 seconds of life.